Hey, it's Imogen aka missimoinsane and welcome to my video. In this video I want to alter this set of wooden drawers which I bought from the works, and they were £4 each, or I believe it was 2 for £7. And I bought two for, yeah, it was 2 for 7, so I bought two of them, and today I'm just going to alter these ones. Now I'm going to start with these little drawer handles because they don't go all the way through and I want to change the handles out. So I'm going to try and get these little knobs off, and then I'm going to use my bench drill to see if we can't put some holes in them for better handles. Subscribe. So basically I managed to get these knobs off with a little hammer, just tapped them and they came off, which was pretty simple. I then marked the drawer fronts where I found out the centre using a ruler, and I just drilled some holes in the front of each one of these drawers. I will apologise because I have no idea what happened to the sound on the following video. However, I'm hoping this voice over will make up for that. Anyway, so I took some white gesso, and this is by the brand Pebio, is that how you pronounce it? Pebio Studio. And I literally just painted all of the outside of each of the wooden drawers and the wooden housing unit. I like this because you can still kind of see the wood grain through just by doing one coat. I didn't need to do a second coat. I went on to masking off using blue painter's tape the boxes, and then I used these artiste do crafts in Princess Pink and Sage to basically paint the inside the boxes, and I decided I was going to do one of the long ones in the sage colour and one of the small ones. I also did the same again with the Princess Pink, and I found that I only actually needed one coat, but when it had actually finished it was all quite smooth, and normally I would take the painter's tape off while it is still wet. I wasn't sure if I was going to need to do a second coat, so that's what happened there. And here I am literally just painting up the inside now that the outside of the housing part is dry. And while you probably won't really see the inside of the housing, I felt like it would be really nice to just have this all uniform, just in case you did want to take the drawers out at any point. And here is literally just everything dried and how it's looking. So I took the painter's tape off. I decided I was going to use this butterfly, and I did make a little bit of a faux pas because I was going to use it on the outside of this pink drawer here. However, when I came to putting it all together, I actually put the paper on the wrong drawers and I muddled that up a bit. So I ended up creating a separate tag, and I will do a separate video for how I came to use that tag with that butterfly. So these papers are from the works, and they are 12 by 12 papers in really stunning quality actually, and they are about £4 a pack. And I have bought a bunch of packs, but I'm using two different papers from these two packs here. I would link them, however I don't believe the works no longer carry these specific ones, but they do have lots of other ones. So you can get that online at theworks.co.uk or in store, and I think that is only UK, England. I'm unsure where else you'd be able to find it. So unfortunately my video cut out while I was doing the cutting, but I literally cut the paper and I cut a quarter of an inch off of the bottom of the paper, and then I cut 3/4 of an inch off, so 2/4, that'd be half an inch, and then I did the same again to try and get it so that the paper matches up, taking into consideration both the housing itself, and also I wanted to leave a 1/4 inch border around the outside so you could see that white drawer popping through. And then I just took my ruler and sort of worked out the positioning of those two middle drawers as well, where I took a 1/4 inch off the outside of each one, and then I cut it in half and then took half an inch off as well, and it kind of worked out. I might have just muddled that up, but it worked out for me. I did the similar thing for the papers that I was going to use on the outside of these drawers, which I used two different papers. I used the heart-shaped one and also this one with the vintage ladies, and then I used the black soot distress ink, and I just went around the outside of each of the boxes, the housing itself, and also the papers, because I just wanted to give it a bit more of a distressed look, and I felt that doing this would add to that, and I kind of like the black on the white.
When I went to do the papers, I was meant to ink just the outside, that was going to be the outside of the box, but I did mess up on this one here, but you couldn't tell too bad that I inked the wrong side. So once all my papers were inked, I then took this metallic bronze Sharpie and I actually inked around the outside of the butterfly, because at this point I was still going to be putting that on the drawers. I took Anita's tacky glue, which is just a PVA white glue, so you could use Elmer's glue or any white school glue that you have. And this has a really super fine nozzle on it, which I found really hard to squeeze and get the glue to come out. So I ended up having to use 2 hands to put a bit more on. And I just spread the glue around, and using some wax paper to cover over the top, I then just braid the whole thing down and like give it a really good brayer to make sure that there was no air pockets and it was all really goodly adhered. So here's my favourite stamp, and I have been using it just prior to this, so it is all inked up, it's not clean because I have been using it. And also this is a very, very well used stamp. In fact, it's possibly my most favourite and most used out of my entire stamp collection. So that's the script stamp by Craft, and I just inked that up using jet black stays on ink, and I really like how that turns out as per. So here I'm just cleaning up my ink pad. There was a bit of a build up of the ink, so I decided to use some isopropyl alcohol just to clear up the stamp a bit more, which you shouldn't really use this on your stamps, but now and again is okay. And then I just took a baby wipe to rinse that off and clean it all off and put my stamps away. So here I'm just trying to sort of put the drawer knobs in, and what I had to do was I took a pin and then pushed it through the back so I could still see where the hole was to make a hole in the front paper. Then I used my pokey tool in the front to pierce it through, and then I struggled a bit to get these handles in, and you totally can't see, but they are like brads, so they just open out flat on the inside, and I totally did that off of camera. So I tried to show you again, and once again I pushed the pin through the back to the front so I could see where the hole was, then took my pokey tool, made that hole bigger, and then I pushed one of the little brad drawer handles in. And I'll put a link in the description as to what the drawer handles are called, but I got mine on eBay, I believe. So then I just tested all the drawers, and I was really happy with it, and that's how it looked, and I was really, really overly pleased. And then I realised that I'd put the sage one on top.
So this is the finished box that I've made, and as you can see I added these little knobs and the patterned paper to the sides. I decided to leave the back plain, although somehow it's got a bit mucky, so I might clean that up a bit before I actually send it. Then this side, and the top has this writing, and then the drawers I did it so this one is like this pinky colour, and then they're a bit stiff, but this one it's also the pinky colour. This one is this sage greeny colour, and so is this one. And I didn't want to overly decorate the top or anything, because I figured that if it was me, I'd like to put it on a shelf and I'd like to be able to stack things on top of it, or be able to put it in somewhere at the side of things, or have a row. And I will link her video here. I will do it right here, so you can understand where I'm thinking she would keep it would be on top of her shelf, with the other similar drawers. Or if she wants to decorate this, then Jackie, please feel free. If you want to embellish this, embellish away. So, and then I also made this matching tag to go with it, which I did this butterfly and I went around the outside in the metallic Sharpie, and I added this vintage, what are they called? Fountain pen nib or dip pen nib, or ink pen nib, whatever, but like I got a bunch of old vintage ones, and this is one of those that has been used. So it's got like it was initially like a bronzy goldy colour, and it's got black ink on it and stuff, and I just figured that that just really would look great. Are we going to focus? Yeah. As sort of like the butterfly centre with like all the writing sort of in the background. I used the Bow Bunny script stamp. No, it's not. Kaisercraft script stamp, which is my favourite stamp I think ever, because I use it like all the time. And then I added these Funfair, what are they called? Enamel dots. And then this key at the bottom. What is the camera doing? This key at the bottom, and then it's got this writing, and I added this chain, and then I added a mixture of these baker's twines and lace and ribbon. And on the back it is just plain, but I'm going to write her a message, and I inked up the outsides with black soot distress ink. And I am going to fill this with goodies for her. So I have a plan, and I have some goodies to hand that I'm going to include.